In this video, we're going to break down step by step exactly how we create workouts for our clients. So before that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into a review of that graph again for Mr. Jerry Berry to get you a better explanation on why we chose the exercises we chose. So as we can see here, the three things that I explained like last time we're going to focus on the core, the hips, and then the scapula, is because those are the areas needed in order to rebalance the body. So just to give you a little bit of explanation, so once we go to the core, because we have to balance and we have to gain the strength of the overall core, so practically what that's telling us is all these exercises, trunk lateral flexion, trunk rotation, flexion, and extension, we have to work on all of these areas is because we have to gain the overall strength of the entire core. Same thing goes whenever we go back to the hips. The hips is way down here. We have to get it above 400. So our goal practically within the hips, as well as making sure we're rebalancing the entire body in each stage, is gaining the overall strength of the hips as well. So then whenever we come back to here, it would make sense technically for us to go ahead and move on to the shoulders since the scapula is stronger than the shoulder. But what we have to make sure is we look at the scapula, and as we could see, we got a lot of red, which is not good because that means we are in balance. We have to create exercises to rebalance the body in stage one from getting all of these down here back to green and yellows and making sure we get all of these opposing muscle groups back to green and yellow. So practically within this, we're going to have to do the opposition motions to rebalance that body out. So in this case, with elevation and depression, we'll have to make sure we get some depression exercises. From protraction to retraction, we have to get some retraction exercises. And then upward to downward rotation, we have to focus on that downward rotation to be able to actually rebalance our body back out in stage one. And then from there, before we actually even move on to the shoulder, we would have to rebalance ourselves out to stage two before we'd be able to move on from that. So that's practically what we're going to be focusing on is all of the core, all the hips, and then rebalancing out the scapula. When it comes to the overall setup, we do 3x3x3 workouts so we can give your body active rest. So practically what 3x3x3 means is 3 circuits by 3 sets by 3 exercises. And you might be wondering what active rest means, especially since the two words don't really seem to go together because how do you be active whenever you're technically resting? So for example, we'll have you do a core exercise, then a lower body exercise, and then an upper body exercise, and repeat through this cycle 3 times so the abs can rest while your legs are working and vice versa. Since our workouts are 30 minutes, this helps us get the most out of the time we have and give you a solid workout in the process. And trust us, we can make you sweat buckets in half an hour. You can ask any of our clients. I promise you that. So when we go to put specific exercises together, we start by taking a look at your report and see what areas we need to be working on. In this case, it will be the core, the hips, and the scapula. Between your report and your ability level, we pick an appropriate exercise that will effectively fatigue your body and allow for muscle growth. Now that we know what areas we're working on, we'll pinpoint the level of difficulty. We figure this out during our day 2 of our 3 free sessions using this page here. The exercise in bold is our baseline, so we'll have you attempt that and then move up or down on the list based on how hard it was for you. So basically what we try to figure out is that bolded exercise, are we able to get to a good fatigue within 15 repetitions? So that's one thing that we specifically look for. We're trying to get 15 repetitions. Reason we pick that is because that's a safe way to work your body. So because we're working in endurance. So 15 repetitions, if you have too high of a weight, you're going to be able to see that, and that's going to tell us whether we need to go up or down. And then the reason we choose 15 repetitions, it's just safer to do it that way. If you go for anything like 10 repetitions and below, you start to get really heavy weight and actually can be very bad on your body if you're doing it improperly. So with the 15 repetitions, it's a little bit easier on your joints if you do it improperly. And we do this for all 6 major muscle groups. That way we know the ability level for each one individually. So now that we know the client's ability level, stage, and their strengths and weaknesses, thanks to our assessment report, let's start creating their workout. So now we're going to go ahead and jump to the workout document. So from here, now we're going to go ahead and start inserting the exercises for the appropriate ability level from that actual report. So the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and type in here is going to be single leg negatives. So this exercise is going to be focused on hip flexion, focusing on the hips, this is going to be the lower body exercise of the set. And then we're going to go 15 repetitions on each side. So each of these is just telling me that we're doing 15 repetitions on the right and the left. And that's the appropriate level based off of kind of our report. And then the next exercise we're going to go into is going to be dive bombers, which this is an exercise that doesn't actually have weight associated with it, because what we're doing here is we're actually utilizing the ability level of the body. So we're using what I call hidden resistance, which is the opposing muscle groups will sometimes, if we look back at the report from previously, the protraction was at 800, the retraction was at 400. So we have external resistance from the opposing side, so we can actually utilize that resistance to be able to work against and to be able to get fatigue in the retraction phase that we want. So then that's what we're going to be utilizing there. And then the next one we're going to be doing is straight leg sit-ups, which is going to be a trunk flexion exercise. So in this one as well, we are going to do 15 repetitions. And then once again, why we pick 15 repetitions, this is a safe, effective way to work the body. If you start to increase volume too quickly, and if you're not doing it properly, you can put a lot of pressure and harm onto the other joints. So this is a good way to be able to figure out actually really a good fatigue to the body without really causing good injury. And our biggest goal is always getting the last 2 to 3 repetitions to be very difficult to make sure we're progressing properly. And if not, we need to progress that exercise to the next stage. So now I have the entire workout completely wrote out. And then as you can see, the next 3 exercises within this next stage, we got lower body, we got upper body, we got core, and then we go to the next one. We got technically core, then we got upper body, and then we got abs or core again. So it follows the exact stage of active rest. So it follows all those things. All the ability levels are all chosen based off of that second day to be able to make sure that we're getting the proper ability level. And then how we progress each day is being able to make sure, was that actual exercise difficult enough for them? Was it enough weight? Was it enough reps? Was the form okay? So we have multiple different areas that we look at whenever we're actually trying to progress an exercise. So there's not just one thing. Most people just think weight, increasing your weight always, or changing up the exercise completely. There's multiple different ways, and there's actually 7, which would be a different video that we actually make as well. But this is how we kind of consistently progress, is we're looking to actually do each workout 3 times. We also make 2 different workouts that are completely different than those, and then you'll notice that they start off pretty dang hard. But each time you do them, they progressively get easier because your body starts to accommodate and adapt to the stress. And that's why every 3 to 4 weeks we reassess and create all new workouts with the same process. And we keep doing this month after month until we figure out or until we finally get that pyramid. So in the next video, we'll take this exact workout and talk about what we look for when we're putting it into action with a client. Don't miss it.